fourth part of the Python tutorial playlist. I hope you covered the previous 3 videos and then you are coming. Otherwise, there might be some of the concepts that you will miss and then there will be disturbance in the flow. But yeah, so today we are going to cover about the matrix, exception handling, and matrix is one of the very crucial concept. Like we will not use matrix directly, but we'll use a library called NumPy for making use of all the matrix and its operations in the machine learning. But for now we are going to cover the matrix followed by the NumPy, which the library of NumPy will be using for the matrix operations, and then followed by our exception handling. So these three things we are going to cover today. So if you are not at all aware of what is matrix, I have written something in the Excel sheet. So if you see this A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, okay, this is I. Okay, so if I click on A, so you can see what is the cell that it is selected. Okay, so if you can see, cell number is A1. How it is saying A1? So what does it mean by A1 is in the A, okay, this is a column and this is a 1. So A1 is the value that is selected as of now. If I click on E, so what it is saying is B2. So in B2 the value is selected. Now in programming languages, what we do is we tell the row number first, that is whether it is 1, 2 or 3, and then column whether it is A, B or C. I hope this is one of the best example that I can give to tell you what is a matrix. Okay, so in Excel sheet it is like Bth column and the second row, so B2, that's how it tells the selected is B2. But in programming, if you want to select E, we'll say in the second row I want Bth column, so that is 2B. Okay, let me go to this sheet. So let's suppose this is 1, 2, 3 column, this is 1, 2, 3 row. Okay, and if I want to access the value E, okay, let me keep all this in bold. I hope now it is visible. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, so now if I want to select the E, okay, in programming what I'll do is I'll tell that in the second row, second column, I want to access the value. Okay, and if you are aware of the indexing, our numbers will start from 0. So this will be the 0th row, columns, and similarly even the row will start from 0. Okay, so now you try to pause the video and try to guess, if you want to access E, what is the row and column that you will be trying to access. Okay, so that will be like first row, first column. Okay, so here we are talking in terms of index. Yeah, so that was a concept. Now let's go to this. So how the, okay, I'll keep it side by side. Okay, Excel sheet, and let me show you. Okay, now I'll create a similar matrix in the programming. I hope in this manner it will be easy for you to understand. Let's create a matrix called A. Okay, and it is of 2 dimension, right? In the single dimension you have seen previously we have created 1, 2, 3. So in this manner we have created, that is a list. But when it is like a multi-dimension, more than one, it is called a matrix. So if we say what is a list, so list is a single dimension matrix. Okay, and the one that you are seeing in the Excel sheet is a 2-dimension matrix. Similarly we can have 3-dimension, 4-dimension matrix and so on, but most of the time we generally go for the 3-dimension matrices. But if when we are dealing with image processing or something related to NLP, at that time we can go for the multiple dimensions, or when we are processing any data set, at that time we will go for the multiple dimensions. Okay, so dimensions means what? Here our dimension is like 1 row, 1 column. Okay, in that also if A is there, instead of A we have some nested matrix, at that time dimensions will increase. Okay, I think I am going in depth, so just forget that as of now. So let me create this 2-dimension matrix in the programming. Okay, so how will we do that is I'll open, since it is a 2-dimension, this is our first dimension. So in this, first I will try to write the first row. Okay, for that I'll open one more square brackets. So first row is A, comma B, comma C. Okay, now for the coming to second row, I'll keep a comma, then I'll start a second row, which is D, comma E, comma F. Okay, and similarly I'll go to the third row, which is G, comma H, comma I. So this will give me an error because ABC are I kept as a variable, it is a string. Okay, so we'll write it as in a single quote. ABC first row, DEF second row, GHI. Okay, this is our third row. Now let's try to see what is the type of A. Okay, it is a list. So this list is of, like you can say, two-dimensional list, which is nothing but a matrix. Okay, now we'll try to, as you have seen previously, to get all the methods of a list, of a set, of a tuples, we'll have a function called print dates and what is it that we want to access. Okay, so let's try to print all the inbuilt functions of the list. List, alt enter. What happened? Is it there? Right, yeah. So I think now Excel sheet is not required. I can minimize this. Okay, so all these are the function that we have tried previously, but we'll try in terms of two dimensions list, which is a matrix. So if I want to see what is the value of A, let me print this once. It is A B C D E F G H I, and now I want to access, let's say I want to access A. Okay, so for A, what do I want? 0th row, 0th column. Okay, so A of 0th row. Okay, let me get the complete row first. So you can see I got the complete row. Now in 0th row I want B, which is at the first place. So 0 1 2 in that manner. Okay, yeah, that's it. So this is how we are using the concept of indexing. Now you want to know the step size, the positive indexing, negative indexing, go back to the previous videos where we have talked about the list, and there you can completely get the understand of the indexing, the step size and all. So based on that, again we can have all the indexing applied to the two-dimensional list as well, because list is list irrespective of whether it is one dimension, two dimension, or three or multi dimensions. Okay, so that was about matrix. Now we'll try to do similar sort of thing with the numpy. So before that, I want to tell you something, that when we try to use some functions, okay, like inbuilt function provided by Python. So if you can see the print, the dir, these are something which are imported by default. But if we use some libraries which are not there by default. So here what libraries means, library is nothing but collection of functions. So if you don't know what is function, function is nothing but a simple logic. Okay, so let's suppose here we are calling type, which is a function which is saying that whenever someone calls this logic whose name is type. Okay, listen to this line very carefully. When someone is calling a logic to be executed and the name of the logic is type, there is some code written behind it, which is so this complete thing is known as function. Function is nothing but a logic, and for which we give one name. And why we are writing that logic as a function instead of writing it everywhere, because we are going to use it n number of times. Okay, so that's why a logic is written and its name is given as type or any other thing, and we'll simply call that with the type. Now how this ID or is this workplace getting to know that type is a function which is already defined in the Python? Because it is imported. Okay, like we can say in a layman's term, that is installed on the system. Okay, but in the programming language we call it as it is imported already. But numpy, it is not imported already, and if you want to use the numpy library, we are going to import it. So how we are going to import is import numpy or numpy. Okay, we can use it directly, and we can give it an alias name as np. So this is like generally we use, but you can give anything like numpy as abc, and then you call the functions of numpy as abc.function1, abc.function2 in that manner. But yeah, for now we are importing this at. So this star means it is loading. Okay, it is executing. Okay, now we got this, and now we'll try to create a matrix. So previously you have seen that we were creating using this manner. This was a normal matrix. Okay, now we'll try to create B matrix. Okay, and this time we are going to use np.array function to create a matrix. Okay, so here let me create a two-dimension matrix where I'm saying 1 2 3, and then for the second row I'm creating 4 5 6, and for the third row I'm creating 7 8 and 9. Okay, now what numpy has no attribute array. Okay, it is array ARRAY. Yeah, that was my bad. Okay, so now if I try to get what is the type of B, you can see it is NMP or n dimensional array. Okay, so if you suddenly see a very big matrix and you want to understand what is the dimension of that, you can simply see this is like how many square brackets are open initially, 1 2, so it is a two dimensional. Similarly, like that is just for identification, but yeah, so here it is like a 3 rows and 3 columns. Okay, and again you can use the similar type of indexing to get the values. Now we'll try to perform some operations on this. First let me print the value of b. So you can see it is an array in which 1 2 3 4 5 6, oh this is fine, right? Now we are going to use some functions. Okay, if this is like we created it manually, I'll show you. So np has a function called arrange, and here let me suppose that I am giving, suppose, okay, 25 values. So I'll print this. I'm not doing anything. So you can see arrange will give me a range of values starting from 0 to 24. Again I have something called step, jumps and all, but yeah, that is not required as of now. So you can go through the documentation of arrange and try to get much more out of this, but basically it will give me a range of numbers starting from 0 to 25. Now I want to reshape it into a matrix format. Okay, reshape it in a 5 by 5. So am I sure that 25 is nothing but if I fit it in 5 rows and 5 columns, it will occupy all the places? So yes, it is possible. That's why I am able to. Okay, let me copy this and paste it here and not manipulate this thing. Okay, so I am basically, this is going to give me the 25 numbers and I am going to reshape in a 5 by 5 dimension, that is 5 rows and 5 columns. Now let me print that. So you can see it gave me in the format of 25, because if I wanted to create it manually, it will be like I need to write 0 to 1, 0 to 4, 5 to 9, all that. So it will be a time consuming thing. That's why we can also create matrix in this format. Okay, so this is a matrix C, let's say. Okay, and now we'll try to do some what we say. Okay, this was a matrix C. Let's try to do similar things. Matrix D, which is again similarly we'll create, but let me show you this thing. So 25, what else is a multiple of 25 apart from 5 5? We have 1 into 25, 25 into 1 and 5 5. That's it, right? So let's try to create a 30 numbers. Okay, so here I can I want 3 rows and 10 columns. So 3 times 30. So that's how we can make sure that we have 30 elements which can be fitted in the matrix. Okay, I forgot to print this matrix C. So now you can see it is creating a 3 rows with the 10 columns each. Similarly, I can write I want 10 rows and 3 columns with values arranged from 30 values. So now you can see I have 10 rows and 30 columns. So for keeping it as similar, we'll use 9 elements, and 9 elements I can use 3 rows. I can give multiple things. Okay, I can give one more dimension called 1. Okay, so let me, okay, you can try that, reshape like 3 3 and more values so that we can have multiple. So since I have given only 2 values, it is a 2 dimension. Okay, let me create a similar thing for matrix D. Let me remove this cell. Okay, yeah, this is a matrix D, matrix D. Right, so we have created 2 matrices. Though they have similar, it is fine, we can understand what is happening and all. Now we'll try to do matrix C plus matrix D. You see, now it is added. 0 plus 0 is 0, so it will work in the form what is in say like, okay, so this first place will be added with this first place, this first place will be added with this first place. I hope you are getting 2 plus 2 is 4, so it will be reflected. 3 plus 3 is 6, 4 plus 4 8. I think you are getting what is happening at what position. Okay, now let's try one more thing, matrix C plus, okay, matrix C into matrix D. Okay, so now you can see this 0 is multiplied by 0 and we are getting 0, 1 is multiplied by 1 and we are getting 1. Similarly, 8 is multiplied by 8 and its corresponding place is getting into 64. So that's what it is happening. Now we have something called dot multiplication and the normal multiplication. So this multiplication is a normal multiplication. This we also call as a matrix multiplication. Okay, now we have one more kind of multiplication which we call it as a dot multiplication. So that we'll first see the output, then I'll explain you how the multiplication is happening. Okay, matrix C dot of matrix D. Okay, so just keep that solution as it is, and now let me tell you what is happening. Okay, so I have opened this Excel sheet. Okay, I'll copy this thing again. Okay, do I have 1 2 3? No. Okay, so it will take some time, but try to understand this. This is a very important concept. 3 4 5 in terms of statistics and programming as well. 6 7 8. Okay, similarly we have one more matrix. Control C, Control V. Okay, this is our matrix C, and this is our matrix D. Let me change this to D. Okay, so fine. Now what happened is the matrix multiplication, what happens is, suppose this is our result. Okay, now in this first place, let me give borders all. Okay, so in this first place what will happen is, this complete row, okay, will multiply with this complete column. Okay, don't okay, try to understand, it will not take much time. So what is happening, to fill this first column, 0 will be multiplied with 0, so it will be like 0 into 0 plus, now what is happening, this 1 will be multiplied with the 3, so 1 into 3 plus this 2 will be multiplied by 6, 2 into 6. Okay, so the result will be 0 3 12 15. So that's how here we are getting 15. Now you try to solve one more thing. Okay, for this place, okay, for this place, this row will be multiplied with this column. So you see, if you want to get the value for this, the row, okay, so this is like, what is this is on the first row, or I can say 0th row and the first column. So this complete 0th row will multiply with complete first column. Okay, yeah, I think you are getting my point. Similarly, if you want to get the value of this, okay, let's keep it as yellow. So for this, what is the row? This is second row and first column. So complete second row and complete first column will be multiplied to get the value of this. Okay, now let's see what will happen. 6 into 1 plus 7 into 4 plus 7 into 7. I hope you are getting this. Okay, so this 6 got multiplied with this one, this 7 is got multiplied with 4, this 8 is got multiplied with this 7. Okay, so this will be 8 into 7. That was my bad. Okay, so you got to know the concept, like what is the row and what is the column we need to choose. So this will be 6 plus 7 4 are 28 34 plus 49 56. Okay, so 34 plus 56, what is it? 34 56 90. So this should be 90. Are we correct? My maths is not that up to mark. Let me open this. Okay, so it will be 90. I hope you got what is a dot matrix is. Now why do we need this? That you will get to know once we understand how the algorithms are prepared and what is the use of dot matrix. So once just for now you remember that this was the dot matrix, and this the normal multiplication is known as matrix multiplication, and we did the addition. Similarly it will be subtraction, division, everything. Okay, so I think this covered pretty much 20 minutes as of now. So that was about matrix, and now we'll spend 5 more minutes on exception handling, and then we'll wrap it up. So exception handling, right? So here what we see is, we write some random logic, okay, and that random logic might give an error, okay, or it might give an exception. So if you need to understand exception handling, first you need to know what is the difference between error and exception. Okay, so error is something which we might get during runtime, okay, and which can be handled by our normal business logic. Okay, but exception it will get while your program is in execution. Okay, at that time we get some issues which is like the output is not which is expected, and it is something which we are getting in a different, like exceptionally, like if you are performing well, you will be said like you performed exceptionally well. So that is something an unexpected behavior. So when the runtime is happening, and at that time if you are getting something different from the expected behavior, that is called an what we say, exceptional behavior. Okay, so for that case, suppose our business logic is right, print a this is our normal logic, right? And if I try to print, I'll get the value of a. But when you're writing something like a really big, or for the big platforms, you try to write try. Okay, then you will write your business logic here, and then you use one more keyword called except. Okay, so except what it is, I'll let you know in a minute. And finally you write finally. Okay, so now finally is not mandatory, but the mandatory thing here is except. So whenever you write a try, except has to be there. Okay, so let us go a line by line execution. So when our business logic is going on here, okay, and it is giving some exception, okay, and exception might have a name, or we can handle it directly. Okay, so let us write print control came to exception handling. Okay, finally print program executed. Okay, program completed. Okay, so here what will happen, first this code will execute, and print a will simply print, and there is no exceptional behavior, so this exception will not be called. Okay, and then finally whether the exception came or whether the exception didn't came, that is like irrespective of that, the code which is written under finally will get executed. I will simply write, okay, so it printed the value of a, and then program completed, so this didn't came. Okay, now if we try to see that, we'll try to print z. Okay, and you can see this is some error that z is not defined anywhere. Okay, so what we'll try to do, we'll try to write print z. Okay, now while printing z, there's an exception occurred, so that exception is kind of that z is not defined. So because that is not defined, it will come to an exception block, and there whatever logic we are writing, that will be executed and the flow will be going on. So you are getting the intention behind the try and except, right? So to handle the exception case, we write a block of code under except. Okay, let's try to execute this. So before execution, what we are expecting is, while printing z, we will get an exception, because of which the control will go into the block written under exception, which is except, and then this will be executed, and whether it is an exception or not, as expected, the finally called block should be get executed. Now let's execute this. Alt enter. You can see control came to the exception handling, so this got executed, and finally the program is completed. Okay, so that was about try and except. But you see here we didn't mention what type of exception it should handle. So because we didn't mention any kind of exception that is to be handled, all the exception that is coming will be handled by only this case. Okay, but if suppose we want to handle a specific case, we'll write the name of that exception. For example, the exception that we got here was that it is not defined, and the name of the exception is name error. I want to handle this specific case, so in that case I'll write except, and what is the name that I want to handle here? Name error. Okay, so this is not something which I am writing, this is the name of the exception which I am expecting here, and if the exception that came with this name, this block of code will get executed. Okay, print name error exception handling block got executed. Okay, so now I'll try to execute, and because the exception that is coming is having this name error, this block will be executed. And if okay, and if exception came with some other name, okay, like IO error IO exception or something like that, that will be coming to this case. Okay, let me execute this. So you see, first we tried to print it this, which created an exception whose name was name error, that is handled here. So that's why we are printing here, and then we are finally, okay, this will not get executed because already exception is handled, and finally our program completed code block will get executed. So this was enough for understanding try catch, but there is one more point I need to add, but conceptually this much is enough. Okay, now one more thing that I want to add is, if I remove this except and if I write it below this, okay, so in this case just try to see what will happen. So you see print z, okay, one second, before except must be last. Okay, right. So here what you're saying is, like suppose this error you didn't get, okay, and why it is giving error, that you will understand in a minute. So first we are writing try, and then some exception will come, and whatever exception it is, because we didn't mention any name on the third line, okay, or I'll remove this comment so the line number will not get confused. Okay, so the exception will come to this third line, and here we want it to handle, but after that we are expecting some name error. But what is happening, if the name error exception has actually came, it will be handled here itself on the third line, so the control will never reach to this. So this is not what is expected. If you want to handle any exception specifically, you will write it on the top. Okay, control Z, you will write it on the top. So if you want to handle any exception specifically, handle that, and finally after writing all your specific handling exception case, you will write an exception with no name, so that if there is any exception case which you are not handling, will be finally handled with this, because here you are not specifying any name, so all the exceptions will be handled here. Okay, so yeah, we'll try to execute this, Alt Enter. That was all about the exception handling, NumPy matrix and matrix, all its operations. So if you have any query with respect to this, please write down in the comment sections, and follow the playlist completely. That's it for now. Thanks a lot.